My name is Timothy Neely, and I am from the Bahamas.
My name is Victor Samuel Powell Jr. I'm originally from Tacoma Park, Maryland, by way of Guyana.
Hello, my name is Torrey Price. I'm originally from Chicago, Illinois.
I'm Dr. Anthony Paul, President of NAPS and Professor of Biology at Oakwood University in Huntsville, Alabama.
My name is Justin Kelly. I'm originally from Detroit, Michigan.
How was serving the New York community shortly after the 9/11 tragedy imprinted your life?
It's something really that I think about often. I think about it a lot. There's really, anytime I see anything about New York or even big buildings or someone talks about 9/11, it's something that replays in my head. So something I really can't get out of my mind. It's something that's with me every day.
I think it's changed the way that I look at tragedy. Going in and seeing the people who were affected by it so closely, it makes them not statistics anymore. And so any tragedy I see, whether it be Hurricane Katrina, there's something in my mind and my heart that goes, somebody is hurting because of this. Somebody is affected by this. And so it definitely changes the way I look at these big national tragedies.
What was one constant thought that kept going through your mind as you were out on Ground Zero?
Constant thought while we were there. It was a mix between keep going and as we were giving New York a big hug. With every step, with every tap of the drum, with every blow, like we were hugging New York. In that regardless of how long we were marching, we just had to keep going because around every corner there were more and more people that needed to feel that hug that we were there to give them, that love that we were there to show them, love of God.
What was the first thing you thought when driving into Ground Zero?
I never thought that we would be at Ground Zero, although we left here with the intent in the back of my mind that was a forbidden place for most people. And for us to be at that location was a mystery to me. I said to myself, God led us here.
As I was at Ground Zero, I was constantly amazed by how profoundly everyone was affected. We were affected, of course, but the people who lived in New York were profoundly affected. It changed their whole attitude, their whole way they carried themselves and the way they communicated. It was all very different. It was all very subdued. It was all very gentle, I guess, in a way. I remember the thing that stood out to me the most was every corner we would pass by, there would be missing person signs. They'd be nailed to, telephone poles and bulletin boards and things like that. And people were still looking for their loved ones, hoping that perhaps they had not been in the tower. And that stayed in my mind very, very, very vividly while we were downtown.
Initially, in the back of my mind, when I got the impression to go, it was to show support, an act of kindness, just to be there in New York City, to let people know that we came from a far place. That was my initial intent, and show them love. Then God took that and I guess spun it into something bigger.
What we ended up doing is something that I don't even know how to explain. Because we didn't use a single shovel, except to carry it around like a marching band. We didn't use a single trash bag that I can remember. What we did is we gave them a hug. We told them that God loves you. We told them that God has a plan.
I still have in my mind the picture of Jamar when you were at one of the vigil sites and there was a lady, a Hispanic lady, holding a picture of her family. I believe one of them was part of that was in the tragedy and was trying to locate her loved one. And Jamar, he was carrying the American flag, and he went with her. He went up to her, holding that flag with one arm and hugging her with the other. And it was so vivid to me because, you know, it seemed like that was what America was about at that time.
Looked around, and there was just acres and acres of dust and piles and cars and broken down things. And then it's at that moment in time that I got the impression that our duty was not to do physical cleaning, but rather to soothe the hearts of those that were grieving. And that is when I was impressed to take out the band and get out of ground zero and to go where the people were.
Why did you go?
How could I not go? I've been asked, so why did you go before? And, you know, how could I not go? I think I've always been the person that likes to help people, and it's very hard for me to say no to anything. And this was just another thing where I could not go, and I could not help somebody that needed me, even if I didn't know what I was going there for.
Well, you know, these type of decisions are not made in an instant and at a given time. I think it comes from sort of a habit of responding to the needs of others in small things. And the golden rule applies. If it were you, what would you want me to do?
But there was something about ministering to their heart and to their soul that took them further than the other gifts. I never forget this one lady. She said, you know, people have sent us food and we're thankful for that, but now we have enough food. People have sent us water and we're thankful for that. We have enough water. But you all have brought us the greatest thing. You've brought us hope and you've brought us love. And that's the one thing that no amount of food or water could ever bring.
Looking back on the event, would you have changed anything?
This is a hard one for me because, again, every time I think about New York and 9/11 and what happened, I always say, I wish I could have hugged one more person.
Nothing at all. I think if we did the exact same thing, the exact same way we did, you know, the impact would have been just the same. I don't think we could have perfected what God ordained. I think it happened just the way He wanted.
I never forgot, our band marched for hours. I think our longest march up until that point was maybe like a 3-hour march, and that was a big deal for us. But I remember in New York, our first day there, I think we marched for 8 hours. And then the second day we went for 10 hours. And looking back, it's just, how many more people could we have reached if we had just marched for 1 more hour? What if that first day we did 9 hours? And what if for that second day we did 11 hours? How many more people could we have impacted? How many more people could we have helped?
I would have gotten there sooner and stayed there longer. I can't imagine much that I would have changed. I would have hugged more people.
Immediately after seeing the tragedy, I would have collected myself together. I wish I could and just leave for that moment. We lost 2 days of suffering with these people and didn't have someone to hug them. These folks were just crying there. Everyone was crying, looking at each other. After Naps left that place, or while there, they started talking and hugging each other. And so while New York might be a lovely place, I think the emotions, the love was not there among their own. But I think Nap's presence and the music changed that.